NoonaTalk.
I'm Zara, and finally, after months of waiting, and Audition is here.
I'm Sophia and I'm rooting so hard for my boy K.
We are Noona Talk, a podcast where we talk about K-pop, K-drama, K-culture, K-beauty, especially if you're a Desi stan.
And you can follow us on Instagram and you can also find our podcast everywhere where podcasts are available, like Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Podcasts, and you can follow us on YouTube as well.
Yes, remember to subscribe to us so that you can not only watch more episodes of the podcast, but also really fun reactions that we do and our K-drama or K-flop series that will be coming out with a new episode next week. So, what are we but
So,
talking about today?
I mean, if you've read the title, you will know that we are talking about and audition the howling. Oh.
So, that was a great episode. Thank you for watching.
Wait, I need to turn on my charger. We just finished watching the first episode of And Audition, and we are here to talk about it. But before that, I think you can't talk about And Audition without talking about Island because that's how we got into it. So, for any of you who are not aware, Island was the competition show which started which was an
In
Mnet and Big Hit
2020.
collaboration. Sorry.
In 2020, yeah. It was like a
Yeah, and
pandemic show.
it was the pandemic show, and we loved it so much. We would like stream it together, we would watch it together, have discussions. It was really intense, and that was the show which basically gave us an hypen. So this was a show we were intensely invested in, and since it was voting based as well, we did vote, and like some of the island members are there because I voted for them. So you guys have me to thank, and Zara too.
But yeah, no, I think Island was a great show. It was very interesting. It was very well made.
Dramatic.
It was very dramatic, and I know initially we only started watching because there was going to be Bang PD and P Dog and Sonduk in it, and we're big fans of all of them. And then eventually they did say like Bang Tang would be coming for an episode, which was a very fun
Hmm.
episode. Honestly, go back and watch it. Cookie stealing like dry spaghetti, big highlight.
Yeah.
Um, but aside from that, I think it was just a great way to be able to see them. I think the same way, now with trainee A, when you're able to get a look at them before they actually become stars, so to speak.
Yeah, yeah. But it was more investing because you are invested in their like them being on that stage. So I think that, and it was just really fun. Okay, there was so much drama as every Mnet show ever. So I think who were your top three from Ireland?
Island, okay. Hisang, K, J, or so like Kim Sonu as well. But like, it was very like
Flip-flop.
some weeks.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Same for me. It was K. K was my number one. Then I think J and Sangoon. Sangoon. I love Sangoon, but like between J and Sangoon, I kind of kept switching. And Heesung, of course, Heesung was like the ace of Island. But so was K for me. And I think for both of us, and for many of us, a huge disappointment was K not making it to the final
It
and
was
hyphen
a
lineup.
shocker.
I was so sad. I genuinely thought I wouldn't be able to enjoy an Ivan's music because K wasn't there. That's not true because of great music. But I always kind of feel like, oh,
Mm.
so I mean when
But
and
fortunately, several months after Island Wrapped and Enhypen debuted, there was a new announcement that Kei, Taki, Nicholas, and EJ, who are all part of Island and are also Japanese. I don't know if, wait, is
only
Nicholas also
K
Japanese?
and Taki are
Oh,
Japanese.
okay. But
Hmm.
some of them are Japanese, were going to be a part of a new debut group, which is going to be the Hype Japan boy group, and then it of course became And Audition, which is where we're going to get to see all the other trainees and who's actually going to finally debut. And it's started.
Hmm.
I've been waiting for this since November last year. It's been
Yeah,
8 months.
it's been coming. But yeah, so right off the bat, there are 15 trainees who
Hmm.
including
Including
the
the
old
four.
four. Yeah, so the four and new 11 new trainees, most of which are Japanese, but some of them are also Korean. and the judge panel is P Dog of BTS fame and Sonduk of BTS fame. Honestly, I don't even know the names of the other two people, but one of them is the Britney Spears
Soma
choreographer,
and
Soma. Huh?
Soma
The,
and Sakura.
is Sakura the choreographer lady?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Soma is one of he's produced I think Crystal Snow by BTS. But anyway, so they're the main judging panel, and coming into the show right off the bat, I have to say this does not have the drama that Island had.
Nor does it have the budget. I think that's something I'm
Hmm.
very like sort of stunned about, where it's like it's not low budget per se, but like it's not. Like Island was Hunger Games opulent. Like it
Yeah.
had everything and it had just so much which was unnecessary in my eyes. But like it was
High
opulent.
budget,
This is
yeah. But I think that is
normal.
very Mnet because Mnet does it was like the area they owned it, and they of course have a lot more like production budget than Hype does. But yeah, this was just even in terms of editing, Mnet has like very Indian serial type
Shoo shoo.
editing, like shoo, like dhoka, sabotage, like all those things within like the first 15 minutes. They're just telling you. And I think a lot of it also has to do with the fact that we don't have to vote for them this time. So it's not as like,
That is something I personally am a little disappointed about because like I really like the voting process for the island. I know like
hmm.
by the end it was disappointing that people I voted for didn't make it in, but like still it was something, it kept you invested and it felt like you had a
Yeah.
stake in it.
Agree, but still, I think it's just the first episode, so we can't make that many this thing. But just in terms of the trainee, I think there's a good mix of ages. It's not just 1K is very old and everyone else is 12 years old. It's not that.
Yeah.
There's a guy who's 21 also. There's some guy
There's
who's
somebody who's
16.
23.
Yeah, the first episode was just them giving it a song challenge, which is the Howling song, like their main song. What is it called? Final Countdown. Okay, let's talk about the ant balls.
Okay, so basically, no, let's talk about this. So every week there's going to be a mission, and the mission
Mhm.
can be is like a challenge that they have to do. It could be, it's always a group activity, but like how it's done will be different. This week
Hmm.
it was all of them performing the choreography to Howling, sorry, Final Countdown, and also singing along, singing how like putting on a performance.
A
And
live performance. Yeah.
every yeah, a live performance every week. There will be, I think, I'm pretty sure every week there'll be an interim check. Well, they'll be
Yeah.
judged by Soma and Sakura, after which they can go individually to their lockers and check if they have these huge transparent marbles, and that is your score that you get. So on a plate which looks
Hmm.
like a shell, I think that's what they're trying to do, like a shell, they have these marbles which are maybe
Oh, it's a
pearls.
pearl. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That
I
makes
think
sense.
so. So you get
Hmm. So we
I
had
think you scored out
eggs
of a
in
10.
Island and we have pearls in
Pearl marbles.
and audition. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think you get scored out of a 10 because so far the maximum we've seen is a 9.
9.
Uh,
Yeah, true.
yeah.
And
So,
basically they
and
have
when you
this
take
huge
those
like
marbles, yeah,
they have that huge, what is it called? The circle, the ring.
moon.
It's called the
It's a moon.
and but it's called the and ring, right?
It is called the ending, but it's a moon because of the
It's a
howling.
moon, yeah. Because
They're going to, when they fill it
Poonam
up, they're
ki
going to be,
chandni raat
oh,
mein bhediya aata
oh
hai.
God. And you have to
But yeah,
they have to put their and balls inside the and ring and make sure it fills up, and that's, if they don't fill it up they're not going to debut, which is just like a
yeah.
scam we all know is going to debut. But
But
like,
like, guys, why would you put so much stress on these poor people? Because my boy K has struggled throughout Ireland, and now you're making him struggle. And then he waited for a year, and you're making him struggle again. For what?
no,
Why is the
so okay,
stress?
no, so I just looked it up because I know we were discussing this. The four of them, EJ, Taki, K, and Nicholas, are confirmed to be debuting. So they,
Okay.
even though
But
they are
if
a
the
part of the
group
show,
doesn't debut,
huh?
then they will
Yeah,
not debut as well. Yeah. But they're a
correct,
part of
correct.
the
But if
final
the
team if it
correct.
debuts.
Correct.
Okay.
If the debut goes ahead, then these four are there. So there are four spots that are already taken. I'm assuming that the
And we don't know
other
how many.
11,
We don't know
yeah, the
what the
other
number
11 are
is,
fighting
right?
for the rest of the spots. Yeah.
Yeah, true. And it was really cute how at the beginning they got them to the hype building and made them meet and hype in. So they
That was
had like
really
a
cute because
reunion
they
after a
obviously are
year.
friends.
Yeah, and a lot of them trained together as well, right?
Okay, what are some differences that you've noticed between And Audition and Island other than budget and drama?
I was just gonna say budget and drama. Editing is a big difference. I think it's not as maybe I don't know if for Island it was the editing or it was just the entire scenario that it just felt a lot more scary and ominous and like the sense of impending doom kind of vibe where they're like Akashvani aati hai or like anda ghumta hai.
I
Like it
was
was
about to say that the Big Boss voice was the thing. Like Big
yeah
Boss
yeah.
जाते हैं, Taki अब dance करेगा. It was like that.
Yeah, but this was
That's what
this
happened.
was a lot more normal. Like I've seen other well, not even audition, like pre-debut shows and things like that, like Stray Kids or ka. And that's like, yeah, of course there is pressure, but it's not intense. Like it's not some super dramatic shit. It's very normal. It's like, hey, you dance and then you will get an evaluation, and that's what it felt like as a viewer.
I
But
think
I
one of the
think
big
it's
differences for
really,
me was like the pacing of it. I think immediately they were just like, "आ गया, इसको practice करना है." Okay,
hmm,
interim check. Like I feel like the episode duration was roughly the same. Like this was an hour,
yeah, yeah,
6-10 minutes,
6 minutes,
and
yeah.
the island episodes were also like 1.5 घंटा only. Like maybe
Hmm.
20 minutes में इतना ज़्यादा कुछ नहीं था.
Yeah,
But like it
Island ka
just
first
went
episode was just
so fast.
like the MTV ka kaun sa what
Welcome to
Cribs.
my
It
cribs.
was an episode of MTV Cribs. Like घर देखो, budget देखो, हमने कितना पैसा खर्च किया है देखो. It's a very Mnet thing
Yeah.
actually. But yeah, yeah, you're right
But
about
नहीं
the
like
pacing.
इसमें पहुँचते ही like it was going.
Hmm.
I feel like I would have, and also, I mean, we talked about this while watching the episode. The critiquing system was a lot different,
Hmm. And
and the
I
fact that there
quite
was no
liked it.
host.
Yeah, there was just that screen. There was no man in the house. That's what I mean. It's like lesser budget. But yeah, it's also the critiquing system was different and I actually liked it because in Ireland it was just like harsh, 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 harsh. And this time it was the first time that we saw P Dog and Sondog just like shower them with compliments. And we were like, in a
And
contract, we're like,
smile.
why? Yeah, so much fun. And no, the drama at the judges panel though. Where they were
I
like,
don't agree with the panelists.
where they're like, maybe I have higher standards, like Soma and Sakura, and the
And
caption was
P-Dog was
like,
like,
Pedo. And then he was sulking afterwards. And the caption was, Soma and Sakura have higher standards.
that was too funny. No, I think I don't know again how it's going to continue because again this was just the first episode. But in
Yeah.
Island, there seemed to be more interaction between the panelists or like whoever the judges were with the group. Like I feel like यहाँ पे interim check जब तक नहीं हुआ, I didn't see an interaction versus like Island didn't have
What
like
was
a
the interaction? Really, I felt the opposite. I felt like उसमें they would just make them prepare everything and then just आके एक बार देख के like 4 point देके जा रहे थे. Whereas here, like Sakura was actually like training them and telling them what to do and giving them more like not just feedback but actually giving them direction, which I preferred. I
okay.
think we've seen Island and you're kind of maybe accumulating all the times they've done it
I guess so.
because they really didn't help them in Island or visibly so like बिल्कुल भी
Do
नहीं.
one thing that I didn't like about Island, which I hope is going to be different about And Audition, which maybe is happening, they didn't talk about the actual singing ever. It was only
At all.
dance and only performance.
Seriously. Like once I think they had a singing instructor, just one time.
Yeah,
But
no,
that
it
was
was
it.
barely addressed. Like इसमें at least like थोड़ी बात हुई सोमा ने कुछ बोला कि breath का control करना है and all of that. Like I
हाँ.
felt like there was a little bit more of that. But otherwise,
True.
I really like I need that to be a focus because like so much for me of like as a consumer enjoying K-pop is based on like the singing.
Yeah, and it's an important part, right? Like, of course, dancing and performance is there, but singing also has to be there. I also think it has a lot to do with who your, again, the target audience is because Japanese J-pop or whatever, like Korean music targeted towards the Japanese audience is very vocal heavy. If you ever notice, like
Mm.
the kind of songs that K-pop artists put out for Japan versus K-pop song, especially fourth gen, where it's not that vocal focused. Yeah, who was the standout for you?
I mean K, of course, I have
Of
to say
course.
that.
Mhm.
And obviously they agreed. They gave him 9 and the balls.
Yeah, like when
Um,
P Dog was like, "Oh, Sondu, who said it?" Whenever K would come in the center, I would just feel relieved. I was like, "Yes, like give him the praise that he
and like
deserves."
not just that, right? It was also like, oh, I expected you to be good, and you were like that because
Hmm.
we've seen it, right? We've seen him
Yeah,
be good.
he was
Um,
excellent, not just good.
if he was, yeah, yeah, of course. It was nice to see Kay. I think from the others, somebody I did like was Gaku,
Hmm.
which is why I like said it in the first place as well, because that's a name I remember.
Hmm.
He just seemed very cute and like good
Wait, who was the
at what he
ballet
was doing.
dancer? He
Hikaru,
was so
Hikaru.
shy. Hikaru, yeah. Hikaru was the one, right? I hate losing and like,
Yeah,
yeah.
that
I
must
think
be
that
the
was an
ballet training
interesting.
coming through.
It was like an interesting arc, that mini arc that they gave. I like it when they do that, and I do think, like, especially in these shows, you should keep a lookout for who's getting more of footage focus because
Screen
usually
time.
those are the people. Screen time जिसका ज़्यादा होता है,
Somebody
they end
else that
up
sort of stood out to me, but
debuting it.
not necessarily for their performance as much, but just
Mm-hmm.
their very unique look was Hayate.
Okay,
Like, I don't
Hayate.
know if
Let me
he's
see.
Japanese or not. Wait, let me look it up. Is
Sounds
he Japanese?
Japanese from his name.
I'm sure it's a very, like, it's a very, I don't know. I don't know how to explain. Like, it's a very swoop face, like wind tunnel face.
Mm-hmm.
Very beautiful. But yeah, no, he definitely stood out to me because of that. And like, of course, good performer. I don't think anybody was a bad performer. Like, he
I
didn't get to
think
this stage while being bad.
yeah. Like honestly, I didn't really pay much attention to the performance.
I did, but yeah.
It wasn't like, I mean, yeah, it's an okay song. Like that's what I mean. Where it was very like there was nothing that stood out exceptionally, and there was nothing that was bad. Like everyone was
Hmm.
good and in
Nothing
sync,
was
and I think
bad. That was
and
the thing. Yeah.
nothing was bad. And like maybe watching individual fan cams would give a better idea of who's doing better. 7 more weeks to go, and
Hmm.
I think we'll have more info once it happens. But we'll keep you
Yeah.
updated. And if you watched and audition, then tell us what you were interested in, or if you haven't
And
seen
who
it
was
yet.
your favorite?
Yeah. And if you haven't seen it yet and you don't care about it, but you're a lover of K, comment down below. K is my boy.
Lol. Yeah. But would you watch the show again? Like, watch the next episode? Like, is it a K reality show or K flop?
I think if I wasn't personally invested as much I was in Island or as much I was in K or as much I wasn't watching like P Dog smile because why does he not smile as much?
He was the
I
cutest.
wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't. Like this was not as a first episode. You have to give something more. Like you have to capture the people, and I don't think this gave that. Which is maybe like they do have a target audience, which is not new people, but people who are already like invested in. I don't know. I don't know what the scene is.
Yeah, no, I think I agree. When we started watching Island, it was kind of on a whim, and like I said, just on
Mm.
the off chance that we'll get to see more of Bang PD, P Dog, and Sondu. But they had us hooked. Like that first one door swung, and we were like,
Like
"Whoa!"
whoa, like all the
Yeah,
other boys in Ireland.
exact and Bangtan.
Mm.
Um, like I think they just hooked us in, and it was very, very well executed. Whereas
Mm.
here, it's nice. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just not. I don't necessarily like you've at least watched the Stray Kids. You've kept up with Trainee. I've not had ever shown any interest in that. And like if
Mm.
K and Taki and everybody else and P Dog and Sonduk weren't here, I don't think I'd watch it.
Yeah, I think it's very different. Like Stray Kids show was probably very similar to this, where it was a proper like they had challenges every week, and there was a like they or not all of them would were supposed to make it. In fact, two of them got kicked out, and by the end they got them back.
Yeah.
And something similar, like there are shows with Twice, with Monster X, like all of them have these very similar like pre-debut competition shows, but it's not a voted show. It's just like a in
Huh, I
company
think the
kind of
lack
a
of
thing.
voting also like makes me not enjoy
Huh.
it as much.
Which is why it's not necessarily a competition show. It's a very common format, and I think it's a great format to give the platform and a push for the debut group. It's very different from Trainee A. They are doing a lot more similar to what Bangtan did, which is
Yeah,
but
no, no, no. I just meant in terms of like pre-debut things,
pre-debut content,
content.
yeah. Huh. So I
Hmm.
think it's a good idea. I think we are basing it off of Island, whereas it is very similar to not Island, but other stuff that people have done. So it's a pretty standard format. I wouldn't say it's bad, but unless you're invested, I maybe later when you're into the whatever. What is the group gonna be called? We don't know that, right? Yeah.
Oh, based off of this, maybe it's going to be called something like
And boys,
Howlers.
yeah,
Maybe they're called the
whatever.
Howling only, and like the fandom is called Howlers because that's still better than Engine.
And then your fan chant would just be like, oh.
Yeah, they're like, 안녕하세요. They're like, oh.
No wonder we like Konichiwa howling this.
Oh yeah,
And
that
it
is
would be
true.
like, oh. In the next episode, because their challenge is that each of the four boys who were from Island are now team leaders and they're going to be doing different groups with different concepts.
Individual concept.
Individual concepts, yeah. So that is interesting. Maybe if I think if the challenges get more interesting, it will.
Yeah, otherwise you can just watch it on fast forward.
Yeah. Then like see last में कौन जीतता है.
Yeah, like what is the scene with
Hmm.
the evaluation? Even the evaluation process. Sorry, even the like marble process was so like chill. They were just
Is
like,
not
हाँ
as
जाओ सब
dramatic.
खोज के
Whereas in
देख लो.
Island, they had
Yeah.
them like geared up in their like Hunger Games clothes in that huge like you know
That hall, just be like teaching you to put your
hall.
name.
हाँ, and एक करके उनका like the placard would fall. Oh my god, it was
Oh
so
yeah,
dramatic.
I forgot about the placard thing. Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah. So
This was our
that's
review of and audition so far. Let us know if
hmm.
you're going to be watching this. Remember to follow us on Instagram and subscribe to our YouTube channel for all the episodes. Just a hint, Jack in the Box is coming out soon, so we will be talking about that. So stick around for that eventually. We will see you next week or sooner. I am Zara.
And I'm Sophia. Bye.